Hey Ray, welcome to Hockey Skate Down. I'm gonna get straight into the video. I'm not doing an intro or nothing. There was choice words that were said last night during the Saturday headlines with Elliotte Friedman and what he had to say about Quinn Hughes and the New Jersey Devils. And Quinn Hughes was asked post game about this in Vancouver Canucks media availability. And I'm gonna play both clips, and then I'll come and talk back about this because if there's ever a chance this is going to happen this season, it's going to be soon. So, and I don't think soon, like in the next coming days, but I do think it may happen leading up to this trade deadline. So stay tuned. I'll play both those videos, then I'll come back for commentary.
Always ask, you say, okay, who's busy? What teams are active this week? And this week, the number one answer was Devils. A lot of balls in the air, really looking around to see what's out there. Now, among their targets, they're believed to include two players from Nashville, Steven Stamkos, who has say over this, and Ryan O'Reilly, who's been promised verbally say over this. But once Vancouver announced that they were open for business, sent that email around to the league, I do believe there was a conversation, at least one, between the Devils and the Canucks about Quinn Hughes. And I stress, I do not believe there is anything imminent. I don't even know that they're anywhere far along. But I do believe that conversation was had about where things stand and where they might be going. Now, also, it should be mentioned with the Devils, and because of their injury and cap situation, they're dollar in, dollar out. So if they're bringing in somebody, they're going to have to remove people. And I think that's why there's so much time around the Devils. They got a lot going on.
And you have nothing, Elliotte, from the New Jersey side. What would be the return if ever Quinn Hughes were to leave?
No.
You don't even want to go there.
You really, see, that's why you're taking half the blame.
That's right.
I mean, no, I'm doing what I can. Like you said, I'm on the ice. It wasn't like if there was a call, me, Jim, and Fitzy hopped on the call. I wasn't a part of that. But obviously, I'm aware that things like that could happen for sure.
So there you have it. Elliotte Friedman talked about what the Devils are looking at. He said that they're talking to the Nashville Predators about Steven Stamkos and Ryan O'Reilly. But he did say that once it went out about Quinn Hughes being available, the Devils did do their thing of calling them to see what could happen. And, Elliotte Friedman did say at least one time they talked. He says that he stresses nothing is imminent. He said that they're not far along, and it has to be dollars in, dollars out for the New Jersey Devils because of the injuries they're dealing with and because of their cap situation, which we all know. So, and then what Quinn said is pretty telling as well. So Quinn Hughes said when he was asked about the trade rumors, he knows of the call. He said he wasn't on it with Jim Rutherford and Fitzgerald, and that's another thing I have to stress. He called Fitzgerald Fitzy, so you wouldn't call another GM by their nickname if you think there's a possibility you might be playing with them soon. And he's and the thing he ended off with, he said he's aware that anything can happen for sure. So, when you're trying to break down things, it is a little bit telling what Quinn Hughes said, but, I don't know. This is going to be a tough thing to do. Fitzgerald is on the hot seat now. The Devils are losers of their last 5 games. They've scored 1 goal in the last 3 games, and that's, it's something has to happen. And I think that if you're going to make a trade, especially of this magnitude to bring in Quinn Hughes, I would do it as soon as you can. I wouldn't wait to the trade deadline because then, you want to see what happens in regards to that. But I know about the cap situation. It gets a bit easier to do as we approach the trade deadline. But, the only way the Devils can win this trade is if Quinn Hughes goes to Jim Rutherford and said, the only team I want to play for is the New Jersey Devils. If he says trade me to any team, then I would say this is a difficult move to make for the New Jersey Devils because you're going to have to give up a ton to get Quinn Hughes. And that's where I think a lot of teams are very hesitant. They don't want to give up a lot to the Vancouver Canucks because they know he may sign with the Devils once his contract is up after next season. So why give up all these assets that Vancouver Canucks are asking if he's going to go to the Devils and sign there? So that's where I think a lot of teams are possibly giving him lower than what I think. And, with the Devils, I don't want to say that the Vancouver Canucks aren't going to get as much as they anticipate. But, the package for the Devils to go back the other way when Elliotte Friedman's talking about dollars in, dollars out has to be Dougie Hamilton. So I think the Devils will get to have to give up some picks and prospects that are very close to making the NHL. And the Devils do have that. But it's not like they're going to get players, because I'm hearing situations where people in the media, especially like Nick Kyprios and them, talking about Jesper Bratt and Shimon Nemitz. It's not going to be them. If the Devils are in a playoff position by the time this whole trade goes down, and once our players get healthy, it's going to be a different Devils team. We hope. But, with Hughes back, with Jack Hughes back, with Jonathan Kovacevic, with Brett Pesce, with them skating, I think this will happen as they're about to near a return, because then we have to see what's going on. There has to be a move that has to be made to clear out some cap space. And, with the other trade that they mentioned, I still think there's a possibility that happens as well. So I will do my next video on that, talking about the whole Nashville situation. But, this is a thing where, I love Quinn Hughes. I would just hope that they waited till he becomes a free agent. But, this is, if you can get him at his cap hit now for another year and a half, why wouldn't you want to do that if you could afford to make a couple of trades? But the dire need for the Devils is up front. They need a winger. They need a third center. They need more depth in regards to that. I don't necessarily think they need defensemen, but if one can go out and you bring in a Quinn Hughes, you do everything you can to make that happen, because Quinn Hughes is arguably one of the best defensemen in the NHL today. So comment below. What do you think about this? If you're a Vancouver Canucks fan, are you worried right now about the package coming back to you? Because, as a Devils fan, when we're talking about this, again, if it's only to the New Jersey Devils, I could see it being a package involving Dougie Hamilton, picks and prospects. So comment below. What do you think about this? And if you're a Devils fan, I know you're ecstatic. Because I've seen all the things going around social media. You feel now this is the closest that this is going to happen before his contract is up with the Vancouver Canucks. So comment below. Let me know what you think about this. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate your time. Smash that like button if you haven't done so, and subscribe to Hockey Skate Down. It's free, and join our hockey team. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of the day. Have a great night. Take it easy. Stay safe.